Hey guys, just want to have a quick conversation about league start mentality. Everybody kept trying to apply the previous few videos that I did to like league start scenario, and league start scenarios are
Sold
kind of
something
its
while you were
own
gone?
beast. Um, you have to start thinking and considering things a little bit differently, and you have to approach it with the right mentality.
The Maryline is ready to go.
So you can have a successful league start by doing research, by preparing, by thinking about trends and thinking through your crafting processes or your flipping process or even your farming process. I'm going to use crafting as an example because that's how I make most of my currency. Um, but I want you to be able to apply those same principles to any other situation that you like. The first point that I want to make is that one of my viewers pointed out in the previous video, and I thought that it was a brilliant way to approach it. Path of Exile, and specifically Trade League, is a PvP game. Every time you buy or sell an item on the market, you're engaging in economic PvP. And it's just as important to invest into your economy as it is into your build. I'm hoping to show you the process of how to research your own crafts and flips so that you're not relying on luck, but you should be building a repeatable process for making consistent gains and knowing what the next step is for your in your economy. The reason why I do this as a hideout warrior, and I think that it's the most effective way, is because I'm slow and I'm inefficient and I don't have a lot of playtime. I can't compete with players that are farming 8 hours a day because I have a job, I have a kiddo and a wife, and um, being a hideout warrior is very fast. So I get to burn down my currency investing into trades and flips, and then I get to go play the game and enjoy mapping and not expect kind of rewards that Fubgun is, burning through maps going, I need to do as many maps as fast as possible. For me, I want to have fun mapping. It'd be nice if something dropped, but I'm not really relying on it because I know that Faustus is in the background in ASIC trade selling my items for me that took me minutes to craft while I have, a half hour to play, go map, and have fun. The whole I watched a couple of videos recently about ground loot. Those things don't really apply to me. I'm hoping to you as well because you're able to adjust to whatever economy is there just by doing a little bit of research. So the first thing is get better PoE extension, better trade. It will let you save trades and trade filters. Start saving every trade that you do. Start saving every profit flip that you come across because you don't know if something's going to be profitable today, might not be profitable tomorrow, might be profitable at the start of the league, might be profitable at the end of the league, and you can track it just by one click. And while you build up your database, you'll have something to fall back on where you don't have to create a new thing for yourself every time that you go to do a flip. You know what your goals are, and you can quickly scan through. Is this profitable? Nope, not today. Is this profitable? Yeah, that's a huge margin. How is this being overlooked? Like, let's take advantage. And the other point that I want to make is when you have a market where you can take advantage and it's a small market. So one of my previous videos, somebody said, yeah, why are you undercutting so significantly? You're destroying the market for yourself and for other players. And my response to him was, you need to set an appropriate margin for profit. And if I have to compete with you for clicks, I would much rather have somebody triggered off of an impulse buy or from somebody thinking that I made an error on the price when, in fact, I'm still making 100% profit while somebody is price gouging for a much higher profit margin, but they're making the player hesitate like, hey, this is a really expensive item. Do I really want to put 10 divines into it? Holy crap, this guy just listed one for 7. Of course I'm going to buy that, right? I want that to be my buyer's mentality. I don't want them to hesitate to put currency into my Faustus. All right, so that's tip number one. Tip number two is I don't know if I should be, coming from this place, but hopefully I'm talking to folks that are not mirror crafters. They're not, professional PoE racers. Those people already know how to have a good league start. Most likely I'm talking to folks that are just average Joes, you know, have a 9 to 5, they have a couple of hours to play in the evening. You don't need to have a deeper understanding of the game to enjoy it. And a lot of people try to go for the meta thing, and they watch all of these streamers, and the streamers are playing builds that are complicated because they can solve their own issues. They play this game as a job. I bet you're really good at your job. You don't need to be really good at the video game. Pick a build that has a good build guide so you know what your next steps are, and make sure that your League Start POV has 5 or 6 uniques in it, because uniques are really easy stepping stones where you know where your power spikes are coming from. With rare gear, it's hard to figure out how to solve your own issue, and the more rare gear you have, the more you're going to be scratching your head going, okay, I have life and resist on everything. What's my next upgrade? What's my next power spike? And you don't know where those are coming from. So pick something with a good build guide and pick something that has several uniques that you can put as your foundation for the build, and then progress from there. Um, the next tip is how to start crafting, and this is going to be specific to the crafts, right? Master one item, master one gear slot. Um, if we start, oh gosh, here. If we start at a belt and we want to follow a build guide from who played recently really well that was really popular. So let's look at Freesia, right? Because the the content creators that were making guides, they will have played a similar skill in Freesia and they might carry it over. I know that Palstron is going to be starting with kinetic fusillade totems. And why don't we go ahead and use the time machine to look at what his day one gear was. So if we look, let's say that I'm going to be starting kinetic fusillade, right? I'm not. I love Siege Ballista way too much, but let's say I'm starting kinetic fusillade, and I want to copy the progression of the streamer. More than likely, he's going to be using similar items or similar mentality for building out his build for Freesia as he is going to be for the main game. He'll learn lessons, and then so will all of us. But for now, we can look at, we've started at the belt slot. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, I know you guys hate my lack of ed blocker. I understand. So if we glance at the belt slot, we can see that he's using a heavy belt in order to fix his attributes. He's got a T1 life roll on it, and he's got T2, T3, something like that for chaos resistance. And then he's got crafted chaos and cold to fix his chaos resistances even further. How are we going to get the chaos, right? You might think to yourself, okay, I know that for the belt slot, I can roll chaos on the harvest bench. And you'll be able to hit, the T3 range pretty consistently, 45% of the time, 50% of the time, right? What if you force it? What if you use essences? Screaming Essence of Envy, right? Let's grab a couple of heavy belts. Put these on your loot filter. Buy them from other players for an alchemy orb. Think about your materials and where they're going to be coming from. Are you going to be relying on harvest farmers to progress through maps fast enough in order to supply you with a good enough supply of, where's chaos on here, of yellow juice in order to click this button enough times for you to be able to hit a decent enough tier of chaos resist and life together on the same roll? No, there's no way that that's going to happen day one, day two. Think about where your materials are coming from. It's going to be relying on players that are progressing through the maps, progressing through the acts. They're encountering random essences, and they're using those essences to, sell them off one at a time and bolster their own economy. You don't have to buy them one at a time. You can put a buy order on Faustus while you continue progressing your maps. Once that buy order is ready and you have put heavy belts on your loot filter, you'll be able to craft these. And then this is point number 2. When you're crafting, think of it as crafting in bulk. So you have invested 10 chaos of essences, and you have invested 5 alchemy orbs, right, on the belt bases. Let's pull out 5 belts. So you are trying to go for expected value. Look at the item, right? The item that Palstron's using at level 90, where he's already in red maps. Hello, game. He only has the chaos resist on it, he only has the life on it, and he has a crafted modifier. He's not going for fancy, neither should you, right? Get expected value and pull out. Look at this, it rolled a chaos resist, it rolled a good roll of lightning resist, and we can craft life on it. Get 3 mods, you have now spent 1 chaos, right? And you can turn this into 5 chaos, 4 chaos, whatever it is. You want to stay liquid. You don't want to maximize, right? You don't want to go, oh, this is going to for sure sell for 7 chaos. And for sure, you don't want to look at this and go, oh, it has an open prefix. I'm going to Exalt Slam T1 life. Don't get emotionally attached, man. Like, you've spent 1 chaos on it. Get your 5 chaos and walk away. Don't put 20 chaos into it with another Exalt Orb. Get your profits and pull out of it. You need to stay liquid so that you can continue to reinvest. Strength, not good enough. It is good, but it is not good enough. Fantastic, right? Turn this into 10 chaos. Turn this into 6 chaos. Don't try to go hard. So these are going to get crafted. Not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. Think about who's going to be buying this. If the item doesn't pop up in their search filter as having too low a life and having no resistances, you're never going to sell it. You need to make sure that your item can be searched for and be sold. Not good enough. So we've made 3 belts that can have a crafted modifier on it added in order to increase value. And we crafted 1 that's good enough to sell as is. So our investment of 10 chaos and 4 alchemy orbs. Let's see how many other alchemy orbs we're going to use on this. So this is tier 3 life, or not really, but this is the highest that you can get with a crafting bench. It only costs 2 alchemy orbs. Click that once. Don't try to use scour orbs to get this above the line or whatever. Think about where you are in the league. This is day 1 crafting, right? Day 2 crafting. You're not trying to hit perfect. You're trying to hit something that will sell for more than you put into it. Okay? Get these belts sold, right? You've now turned your 10 chaos into, let's say, 5, right? Let's say this one's going to be sold for 10. Let's say this one's going to get sold for 5. Let's say this one's going to get sold also for 10. So this is 30 chaos that you've made in, I don't know, the 4 minutes that we spent on it. Go map, right? You're out of chaos. Go map. Put them into Faustus. And throw the base back into the base tab, right? And then start thinking about scaling your economy. And you're not thinking about scaling economy through increasing risk. You're thinking about scaling economy through increasing the diversity of things that you need, or the next stepping stone for the build that you have, right? So let's take a look at our good friend Palstron. This was his day 1. Let's take a look at his day 3. For most people, his day 3 is going to be everybody else's week 2 because they have work, they have life responsibilities, but we can already see that he's making upgrades. We're looking specifically at his belt slot. What has he started doing? He has started increasing value by going from 2 modifier belt to a 3 modifier belt. He has moved out of the category where you can get lucky drops, right? So day 3, a lot of people are starting to get into maps, and those heavy belts are going to start dropping with modifiers, and they're going to start beating you out in price. Stygian belts can't come from the tree, the Genesis tree. They can't come from shipping. They can't come from just randomly dropping off of monsters. You have to go to the Abyss and or engage with the Abyss in order to get them. You, by the way, don't. You just buy the belt bases. Spend a chaos on each one. Start rolling them. Right? You can use the same approach, but now that you're spending a chaos in each of the bases, Maybe start thinking about using uh, the deafening or the screeching essences in order to get better results. Look before you click. Maybe you already have something that's usable. Can this have suffixes? This has an open suffix right there. So go ahead and put on a double resistance on it. Don't go for the 3 chaos one. All you've invested into this belt is you've identified it so far. Go ahead and sell that. Put it up for, the belt cost you a chaos. You ID'd it. It cost you 2 alchemies to do anything with it. Don't have an emotional reaction to it. Put it up, sell it, get rid of it, get your chaos, and move on. This is already no lie, pretty decent, but whatever. You click once, you get this. Fantastic. Throw life on it, sell it. Somebody's gonna go, bro, slam life on it. No. Bro, slam a hunter orb on it. No. Bro, slap some resistance catalysts on them. What? Who's doing ultimatum on day 1, 2, 3? And who cares, right? Sure, week 2. Who's going to be doing that and investing into this kind of belt with the kinds of currency that it takes to catalyze something with ultimatum? This costs you 1 click of an essence, 5 clicks of an essence. Take your win and move on. Don't get emotionally attached to your items. Don't fall into bait traps where you think you're going to beat the odds and do the vision craft the way that Chris intended. Stay liquid and move on. Not good enough? Not good enough. Almost good enough. Not good enough? Almost good enough. This is bait. Don't try to exalt slam this. Nope, pure trash. This is good enough. So strength is the only modifier that is an attribute that can roll on belts. So if we look at attributes, strength is the only one. Hey now, you can abuse that fact by rolling other attributes on there. How many spites do I have? Not many. And I can't be bothered to look for more.
Hello.
So people are going to be trying to fix their attributes. You can roll strength and dexterity and life and a resist. Jesus Christ, that's a fantastic hit. But you can put attributes where they don't exist otherwise. And this lets you compete in a market that other players aren't competing in because they're going to identify their siege vices and whatever accidentally rolls on them, they'll put it on the market. You can get an advantage in that way. So think about ways that you can have opportunities to succeed where others aren't doing. And think of the sources of where those things are going to come from. What are we doing here? Sure. Don't get emotionally attached to your items. Go list them, get your wins, pull your chaos out, and move on. Always think about scaling your economy. What's the next thing that I can do? What can I do to this belt that will give me a power spike? And if it gives me a power spike, it's going to give somebody else a power spike. As you scale your economy, start thinking about okay, attributes is one thing. What about, since we're on the theme of essences, what about the Storm Shroud jewels, right? People are going to try to get their Storm Shroud jewel and get elemental immunity that way in order to progress through tier 16, tier 17 maps. You can craft these belts yourself. This is a take your win and go, right? Again, you're looking at this point, start thinking about, okay, who's going to buy this? It's going to be a person that is already investing into a Storm Shroud jewel, which is going to cost more than a couple of chaos. So you should be spending more than a couple of chaos rolling this item in order for it to actually be good enough to sell. A T2 lightning resist is the only thing that rolled on this. If you look at any of the other mods on this and think, oh dude, he got T2, T1, whatever. No. The avoid and the lightning resist were the only mods that rolled on this. Take your win and go. Craft your life on it. Sell it off. Don't get emotionally attached to things where it could have been, it should have been. and try to fix items with additional currency, especially if you don't have the bankroll to do so. Think about who's going to be buying it. Think about what the sell value is. Think about, hey, I just hit a T1 maximum uh, energy shield. Do I want to put chaos resistance on this? Think about it. Chaos resistance, energy shield. Probably not the combination that people are going to be looking for. You put 10 chaos worth of essences into it, the base costs you 5 chaos. At this point, it's reasonable to go ahead and click the 3 chaos item. Don't click it 6 times. Click it once. Sell your belt. As you grow into week 2 economy, start thinking about who's doing what, right? By week 2 or end of week 1, people already have settled into their farming strategies. They're already starting to make money. Start thinking about how to capitalize in ways that are appropriate for where you are in the league. This guy is not going to anymore be your competitor or your client for anything that you're crafting. He's moved on. You know what he hasn't moved on with? Is specialty items, catalysts, cluster jewels, special stats on gear that you can recombine onto it, special bases. These are things that you can be buying, that you can be crafting, that you can be doing, right? He has an Astramentus that has a divination card. Buy the divination card. Get the Astramentus. Add the attribute catalysts onto it. See if that's profit before you start. If the cards as a set cost less than the worst Astramentus roll, that's profit. If the Astramentus roll that you got is going to be worth more than the catalyst that you're putting onto them, do that and increase the value that you're selling it for. Do it for builds that are going to be economically viable because people are following them. Don't do things that look fancy but won't really sell because nobody's trying to do or trying to get those things, you know? Think about what those guys are going to be farming and what they're going to be crafting. Think about what they're going to be using for their farms, right? The week 1, everybody's like, oh, dude, harvest is cheap. Harvest is cheap. Why is harvest cheap? Harvest is cheap because nobody's got the currency to do metacrafts, which is going to be one of the primary drivers for harvest juice. Nobody has the currency to do the fancy clusters. So harvest juice is cheap, and people need to get catalysts, right? Buy up cheap catalysts. Buy up cheap delirium orbs. Go to your harvest. Change a stack of catalysts into a different kind of catalyst. Change a stack of essences. Don't do this into a different kind of essence. Don't do this. Do this with delirium orbs. So you can have things that are cheap in the beginning of a league, but expensive at the end of a league to do, or mid-league. Harvest juice goes up in price as the league progresses, but on league starts it's cheap. So abuse that fact in order to get stuff that's expensive, like life catalysts or resistance catalysts, out of the cheap juice and the cheap catalysts that are on the market. Grab the delirium orbs that by the end of week 1 people are going to be using, the PoE guy guardian methods with the delirium orbs, right? Grab the ones that are cheap from him and convert them with your cheap juice into expensive delirium orbs. Think about what challenges your build is facing and how can you turn those into opportunities, right? Let's say you're following Palstron's guide. In Frisia, he never made the transition into a shield with +1 totems, but it is something that no doubt he's going to be doing for 3.28. So learn how to make the shields with the +1 totem, because if you slap let's go with offhand, intelligence shield. If you have an open prefix and full suffixes and you click a Shaper Exalted Orb, which didn't exist several leagues ago, onto a shield, you will always get +1 number of summoned totems. Use that to your advantage. do your research on how the items are made, because Shaper Exalt Orbs are super cheap, and the shields that they produce are not cheap. If you're trying to make the PoE guy build, right, and you're trying to get the Conquest Lamellars, and you're trying to get it with the Hunter influence, right now, they're really cheap. But during the peak of week 1, Hunter Orbs are 2 divines. The Conquest Lamellars, just by themselves, are a divine. And you can take advantage of the fact that you can turn the markets in your favor. You can, first of all, help saturate the market for the players that don't know how to make these items for themselves and not gouge the prices. And you can help yourself by ramping your economy
Not
for,
bad.
again,
Not bad
thinking
at all.
about where you are in league progression. If Harvest Juice is cheap, that means that you should be able to abuse it for making things for others or for sale or for yourself that will improve your situation. So if I can reforge an influenced item, not this one, this one, I can randomize the influence type on an item that's rare and turn, wow, that was lucky. But on average, there's only 6 influences, so you can click and do the estimate for yourself if 6,000 blue juice is more or less than the sale price of this Conquest Lamellar. And the way that you can help other players is when you make these ones, go ahead and help them out. Click on the T1 attack critical onto the build, onto the base, so that they have an easier time awakening their armor together. So be conscientious, but also get your profits and know when that time to pull out is. Keep a tab on the market so that you're not over investing into a build or into a craft or into a flip when the market doesn't support it. Know where you are in the league, right? Look for the opportunities to sell power spikes. Think in liquidity. Think that good enough is good enough to sell, and be aggressive with your pricing. If it costs you a chaos to make the item, be willing to sell it for 5 chaos, even if it's god tier but nobody's buying it up until you drop it to that price. Scale in volume and diversity, right? Market to folks that are doing things uh, with belts that need the chaos resistance. Think of the ones that need the defensive modifiers, the ES, how those are impacted. Look at folks that are looking for power spikes with the increased, oh my god, here we go. Back to this. Increased elemental damage with attacks. If you roll attack on Harvest Bench on a belt,
Greetings.
the outcome will always include the elemental damage with attacks. And if you roll something like this, T1 with a T3, it's good enough to sell. Go ahead and put on a dual resistance roll and sell it. Know where you are in the league when you're buying stuff too. If you are following, the Belton's guide from 3 years ago, and you've got a price history only going back a week, go ahead and get a better picture of what that looks like. Day 1 tamings are 80 chaos. Are you going to be gambling them then? If you are, you're going to win big. If you're not, you can gamble them here when they're 10 chaos and still make profit. Know where you are in the league so that you don't gamble it here and sit on it until it's here, until it's at the 10 chaos when you invested 80. Stay liquid and know what you're getting into. All right, I think I've babbled on for long enough. I did write a script so that I would stay on track. I didn't follow the script too well. Let's see, recording time 37 minutes. Okay, well, we'll post it, see where it goes.